since I'm out here and I got my dick out, nobody can see me. I wanted to make another video about record players. So I actually have a pretty extensive vinyl collection. Mostly it's, again, I was DJ Super Jug, and I collected all kinds of weird vinyl from Goodwill and other thrift stores. Just weird stuff that you never would have heard of that you can turn into a weird sample, or like stuff that, if you want to listen to somebody who really put a mishmash together, and I enjoy his name is Patrick Lee. He's out of Colorado, and he has a Bandcamp channel with all his music on it. He fucking changed my life with some of his songs. In fact, I'll see if I can find it. I actually originally the About Us video that you see on the, I don't want to call it a homepage or whatever, but it's basically on the greet page for the YouTube channel here. I originally wanted to use his song from I think it's 12 Tusk Piano, and it's called The Pound, and it's a fucking badass song. I mean, it's insane and it's timeless and it's unique and it's fucking funky and fucking, it's got a good bass line and all that kind of stuff, and I'd love to use it in a movie. But I reached out to him and he didn't respond, which doesn't mean anything. But I went ahead and had the guy that was making the video cutting it. I said, hey, use this track. And then he didn't get back to me. So I was like, just to be safe, use another track that's like just open source. And so I'll release that here in the next couple of days when I find it. It's on some hard drive somewhere. And I'll just post it up and you guys can check it out. Since at the time when I came out with that and I wanted to have like a quote unquote official, something more organized than just me talking into a camera, sort of YouTube page. And Mark, the guy, I knew him from comedy, helped me put that together, and it gives you guys a better orientation about what Robot is about and what I'm trying to do with it, and anything. But it's fucking sings. It's fucking badass with Patrick Lee's song on there, and I'll release that. And because I don't monetize it, it's okay. It's fine. I get a little ding that says, hey, this is copyrighted material. I'm like, that's fine. And they make sure that Patrick Lee gets paid every time it plays. So fucking play it as many times as you want. There's that. Oh, it was record players. So Grady Freeman from Gothic Vape in Texas submitted a question and said, hey, what do you recommend for playing vinyl? Well, and of course, if you listen to the stereo heads and the DJs, you gotta have techniques, blah, 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 SP, I think it's SP 1200 or whatever the fuck it is. No, you don't. You can use a Fisher-Price record player, it doesn't matter. The fidelity is terrible for vinyl. It should not be listened. For whatever reason, it's used with tubes, which are dumb as well, in audiophile setups, and guys that have $3,000 fucking speaker cables and idiots like that. That's a whole make-believe fantasy thing about using vinyl and tube amps and line arrays and ribbons and all kinds of other dumb stuff. For again, I recommend if you want to look through some of that bullshit, look at the stuff they make fun of on the Facebook group called Audio Bullshit. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. But no, there used to be a company called Ion. It's just a flash in the pan company that imported a bunch of cool stuff, flooded the market, and then I guess didn't survive COVID or whatever, or just took the buyout and went and did something else in real estate or whatever. But there used to be a company called Ion that made these really affordable record players. They were like $100 new. Sometimes you can get them for $80 or $90 new. You can probably get them used for like $50, $40, $30. And I believe it was USB enabled. And so you could plug it into your PC, and then I guess it would sample and have a little cache, a little RAM or something like that it would keep on the record player, and then it would then feed into your computer. The other way you can do it is just have an analog input. I think you got to have a preamp because phono is like really live. It's just a little more sensitive, a little more dynamic as far as voltage goes, to stick straight into your sound card. I think that I don't quite know that, but you probably should feed it through like a receiver first that has a phono input. And then from there, you have RCA output that you go to headphone jack, and then go to your, it's your blue line in on your sound card. And then you go down to your sound card controls, and you can adjust the inputs at the levels there as well, depending on your sound card and the software that supports it, blah, blah, blah. And those all use the same, it's actually a DSP chip, logic. I forget what the name of the ALC Logic 2, something like. Anyways, it's the same chip they've been using for years, and it fucking works fine. And then that you can use a program like Nero. I used for a long time to just make recordings. Now you can do everything through your phone. So you can actually just do aux input to your phone and run it from a record player and sample it to your phone if you want. So there's a million ways to do it now. If you want to convert vinyl to digital. And then that way you can compress it or use a FLAC file or whatever compression module you want to use, or algorithm you want to use, and then store it on your hard drive. That's a fucking better way to go. I guess if you want the sound of vinyl. So mostly I think it would be for historic purposes, because there's a lot of the records that I have are from Westwood One out of California, which was a syndicated radio network. They would just do FM and stuff like that. They would have a bunch of radio stations across the country, and they would send out these records. That's how they send it out. And this was even in the 80s. And they would send out a record of like Casey Kasem's Countdown, like on vinyl. And it was programming like that where they didn't have the synced up networks or even repeater networks that they do now. So they would just send a vinyl record in the mail to some radio station in whatever town you have, and then at 11 local time or whatever time was set aside for this program, they would play that record. And then what was really cool was sometimes they would have commercials in there too. So you get to hear whether it's a nationwide commercial or a local commercial or whatever it is. That was really cool. And I got a lot of records like that, or like Sesame Street records, things like that. Stuff that you don't normally can sample or know about. Really, just ancient stuff. I would still love to get into music. It just is so time consuming. And for me, the stuff that I want to do, I would need a team of people, a production team of at least 4 or 5 people, gathering and transferring all my stuff to digital, and then organizing it and knowing where it is. I remember Moby, the artist Moby. I like a lot of his early work, and not anything really in the last 10 years, but some other stuff. But I still follow him on Instagram though. But what Moby talked about was one of the things that he was really successful about was he would find a piece of music that was about to go public into public domain, and he would buy it. He'd find the family or whoever was left that would make a claim against him or something like that if he used it, and he would buy it, or he'd buy old music. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's like, we get it, bro. We get it. You're going to the dunes. So Moby would buy old music, and then that way he could sample it and tweak it and turn it into all kinds of really just fresh stuff. Sometimes he would overlay it with piano or harp or whatever he would do. There's a couple of songs that I think are off of I forget which albums they're off of, but I'll put a couple of tracks that I really like he released it he released a lot of that stuff to SoundCloud now too. Moby is all for getting his music out there and getting it used in commercials and things like that. He's like, it's not that I'm a capitalist, but if that machine is available there and it gives me money, and he's a trusted good person to use the stuff that he wants to use money for is like saving the rainforest and stuff like that. He's like, you can use money to save the rainforest. You can use money. Money's not bad. Doing bad things is bad. So, but I like that about him, that he has a little bit of a drink problem, and then he came out with a book where what's her name? Padme, Princess Leia's mom. Natalie Portman. He said something about Natalie Portman where he was like, we dated for half a second or whatever, and Natalie's camp was like, fuck you, we did not date. She's like, I met him one time at backstage or whatever. I don't know what to think about that. I just thought it was a weird thing for Moby to put in a book, and Moby has a history of I don't want to say abusive, but definitely self-deprecating kind of, there's different alcoholics. Like me, I'm a happy alcoholic. Like if I get drunk, like I want to make out with everybody's chick and whatever. Yeah, well, Sherry knows. So I start flirting with all kinds of, like, she's not even cute, but she's slutty. Like, I'll flirt with it. What's up, girl? Yeah, I know.
We'll go somewhere else tonight for dinner.
All right, well, I guess I got to take her out to dinner. Sorry, it's the Chandler meat. That's how it goes. But anyways, Moby had a little bit of a drink problem, and I think he's got it under control now. And again, it's important to stay focused on something that your life has meaning and gets meaning. So not sure how I got from vinyl. I think it was, thank you, Grady, for bringing that up about vinyl. I actually just collected just for samples and for DJ stuff that I eventually want to make in the second 80 years of my life, because I want to live to 160 and go to the moon. But somebody's coming to visit. Who's visiting?
I don't know. Maybe they turned the wrong.
Sometimes they turn in the wrong place. They go, oh, we can't turn. Yeah, they're turning wrong. So anyways, again, when I finally, I'm not touring on my llamo promotional tour, or, oh, they're going to make the left. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, I guess so. Yeah, that's how you get a ticket.
Like the third
I
time
know. I've seen that a bunch of times. People are just lazy. They don't want to make 2 U-turns. But yeah, it's very dangerous. The worst one is when you're like, I'm just going 100 feet, and the cops are like, you're going the wrong way down the street. But yeah, anyways, there's all kinds of different alcoholics, and there's all kinds of different self-pity. Remember, self-pity is the root of all evil. It's dangerous to toy with something like that because it's self-indulgent and it's undisciplined. Right now we're watching Walking Dead season 11, and I was talking about how weird it is. I was talking to Sherry about how weird it is when they show they found another community that's like happy and quote unquote civilized, and it's weird, of course, to go kill the Walking Dead and then like have ice cream with children. Like those two activities, don't mix. And of course, I think the parable that they're telling in the story is fucking be prepared. Like once you are hardened in battle and just life of people trying to fuck you and kill you and just take advantage of you, don't let up. Use that for good projects. Use that to really get stuff done in your life. That's what I recommend, and that's what I do every day. So like I'm trapped in this property, but being trapped, I could have felt sorry for myself. I could have gone bankrupt. I could have done all kinds of stuff, and I didn't do that. So, but I hunkered down, and then fucking COVID happened, and Sherry almost died, and she now she's got long-term COVID and she can't work. She fucking gets winded just going to the bathroom, and she got brain fog and a bunch of other stuff, and it's like, like her life will never be the same, and of course because we're married, my life will never be the same because of COVID. And but luckily, because of you guys, because of your support, because of what I've been doing, and the bets that I made 10 years ago are paying off, and the insight that I've had and my gut. I mean, we control fucking 200 URLs, and I work on IP all the time, which is short for intellectual property. I work on stories, I work on movies, I work on all that kind of stuff. It's just right now it's not something to entertain, like making music. It's not something to work on right now, and you just kind of put it on the back burner because it doesn't pay any money. was funny. Larry was yelling at me to make more payments, bigger payments every week. And I sat down and I said, Larry, when I pay you, that doesn't make me any money. So I don't want to do that. And he's like, pay your balance down. So, because it was like, they started me out with like a $5,000 line of credit, and then it went to 10, and now it's at 15. And so right now I think I owe like 12, and I just make like $500 weekly payments. And and I'm like, well, I'm selling stuff, but the problem too is that they sell me stuff, and then I only make like $20 on something. There's no margin. And that's why I keep pitching for generics. I'm like, because it's not just me. I know if I have this problem, you guys are going to have this problem. And so that's why it's important to have margin on what you're selling. And then it's also important to offer an equal value, equal performance product at less than what your competitor is offering. That to me is the magic formula right there. And then what's great is you have really low buy-ins, like say 1,500 or whatever it is, low minimums, things like that. So now you're working at home and you're with your family, and yes, because you already fucking do, most of you guys do installs, whether, if you're an apartment complex, that sucks to do installs that way. And a lot of times they'll yell at you, or hopefully you live in like a 70s track home, 80s track home, and you can just do it in your neighborhood. You don't have an HOA. Or better yet, if you have a garage, you could just, do the install in your garage or something like that. I've seen dudes do installs at the fucking Walmart parking lot, wherever it takes to do that. And the best way to go is actually be mobile if you want to do that and get into that business. So, and especially if you specialize in something that rich people like, soccer moms like, you can take soccer moms for a lot of money, especially when they go to like, the audio store and they're like, ma'am, this was going to cost $1,000. She's like, $1,000 for a backup camera? I'll talk to my husband. And then that's when she jumps on OfferUp, and she finds me or you or whoever, and you're like, yeah, I'll do it for $300, which is still too much. We used to do it for $80. But again, just not somebody figure out the market price, be fair, be helpful. Don't be a dick and just like rip people off. That fucking sucks. But somebody was complaining the other day about one of my debadging videos. I'm like, well, you're a little late to the party. But he basically kind of said to me that I was being sneaky and deceitful. I'm like, that is not sneaky and deceitful. That happens every day with every brand. Every brand does that. Every brand finds something that is just open tool, and they put their brand on it literally, and then they put it out there. That's what they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. What you really want to study is where you can make an impact, where you can buy something. That's what I was talking about the other day with the Mr. Music Man components. He's selling them for $100 a set. I think they're worth about $200. And so what I do is I just debadge them. I call them whatever, GONZO Supreme or the Jiznado or whatever the fuck I call them. And then I sell them for $200 a set. And that way I make my points, Oscar makes his points, and they're still $300 cheaper than Focal. And they sound just as good. And so Oscar was supposed to hook up with me, but I don't know, he's busy or whatever. And I don't know, sometimes he gets weird. Like, I'll just say he's busy. Sometimes he's busy, because sometimes the excuses he gives me for ghosting me are kind of weird. I don't know, I don't want to judge him. Anyways, I'll talk more about stereo stuff. We got to go eat, and then I got to go back to work. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. That's my how many minutes? 19 minutes about vinyl and other bullshit. It's basically an extension of the Critter Cruise. Love you. Bye.